Fellas, let's talk about gear ratios. I've mentioned that before and I've spoke about it several years ago, but that question never gets old. People keep asking. So with a little bit more gathered information or experience, I should call it, let's talk about it. So for the curious ones, that check engine light comes and goes as it pleases. My regulars know it's something with the ground and the harness to do with boost and biro sensors. So one of these days we'll get to the bottom of it. So for context purposes, so you guys understand what we're working with here, right? Because I'm gonna use this truck as an example. We're hauling a 23 Ram 1500 with about a 3,500 pound utility trailer, cargo trailer. No, it's not a cargo, it's a utility car trailer, 22 foot tilt, full deck tilt. Anyways, so you guys understand, that's my fuel mileage, 14.6. And these are 342s, right? Before, I frowned on 342s after getting a good hand of miles under my belt. Probably 150,000 miles, personal miles, with 373s. I can tell you the perfect ratio for me would be 355s for what I do. I used to frown on 342s. I said, well, that's a waste, this and that. But given the Cummins and the kind of road that I do, maybe for the curious ones, I'm interested in what the heck they're doing as well. Chopping down burnt trees is what they're doing up there. Given the fact that I tow, a good amount of my miles are towing. In just the current state that I'm in right now, I don't have a newer diesel truck. So I drive my TRX a lot, so this diesel doesn't get a lot of empty miles, but average on the usual. I usually daily my diesel and I take it everywhere. And I found that the 373s are just not ideal going across Wyoming and Montana. Some people have no problem having their engines turning up there north of 2,000, but I just didn't like it. I prefer the 342s, the 355s for what I do. Now, to put it in perspective, obviously, the gear ratio is for opinion perspective, but this is the rule of thumb I'd go by. Here, my goodness, man, I need to take a drink real quick. Drink water, nothing else, I promise. Give me some water. My mouth is going dry. I guess I'm talking too much. Rule of thumb I would do, 342s is probably as low as I would go. Let me throw this out there. I've owned 323s, 342s, 355s, 373s. Personally driven them, owned them. I've done those miles. I've tested it. Now I have 410s as company rigs. Have I driven them? Yes. Do I have hundreds of thousands of miles under my belt? No. I don't know if I even have 5,000 miles under my belt with 410s. Me being mechanically, inclined and whatnot, I would not buy anything north of 410s for over the road. Keep in mind, my trucks go over the road. Hot shotting, if you're new to the channel, go check out my other videos. You'll realize that I just, hot shot. The hot shot operation is what brings these videos, really. So with the trucks being over the road, they need to maintain 60, 65. 410 is probably as steep as you want to go. And also my theory of a pickup truck, it's something lighter, because if you go that heavy, let me finish my characterizing of gear ratios, then you kind of put the puzzle together, my thought process on this. So if you're towing anything south of 10,000 pounds, I don't know why you have a diesel, but if you do have a diesel, 342s and 355s are just fine. 323s were fine. I just cringe understanding that puts so much extra stress and tension and unnecessarily wear on your U-joints, your transmission, clutch packs on your tranny, and your rear differential. Keep in mind this truck has 517,000 miles, and the rear end's still OEM. This rear end was never altered in any way besides wheel seals on the outer ends. When I just bought it, there's issues with wheel seals. We got that addressed. So this is the OEM rear axle. So that being said, you're going to say, well, the rear end is going to last. Guys, I've put some serious weight behind this truck, and no, you shouldn't be towing heavy with 342s, but it does it okay. Now, if you're the part-time tower and mostly, hauling your booty around, these 342s are just fine up to 10,000 pounds, or excuse me, up to 20. Not ideal, but it's fine at 20. Okay, you're probably not going to utilize 6th gear much. You go as far as 5th gear, but rule of thumb, if you're going to be towing and that's all you do with your truck, like an average hot shot that you see over the roads, guys, your number is 373. That's what you want to have. 373 is a sweet middle. It's a good number. Efficiency as far as power, efficiency as far as fuel, it's the sweet spot. Now, I would say anywhere from 10,000 to about 30,000 pounds. That's your average guy. That's your average use of a pickup truck. That's why I say 373s. Now, anything north of 30,000 pounds, my rule of thumb is 30 to 50, and 50 is a lot. I'm talking about gross vehicle weight, your truck, trailer, and your load. Anything north of 50, I don't know why even have a pickup. Shoot, I'd even say 40, but there's situations where you need a pickup. Those 3 to 4 or 5 car haulers in tight areas, semis can't get in, but they can. Those guys that have 40-footer tandem duals or step decks, tandem dual axles, you need to haul that heavier weight, because at a certain point you're destroying the efficiency of the pickup, right? Your pickup can't last like a semi. I would say, when you're north of 20,000 pounds and anything not so aerodynamic, you're right there in the 6s for fuel mileage. You might as well jump in a semi truck. So that's my opinion. Anything north of 30,000 pounds, I'm like asking a lot of questions, like, why are you using a pickup truck? I'm talking as far as usuals. So to sum this up, if you can skip the 323s, 342s is probably as low as I would go, as high speed as I would go. 355s would be my choice given the way I utilize my truck. 373s is the perfect gear ratio for the guy, gal that uses their pickup for towing, any kind of tow. Ideally 10 to 30,000 pounds gross vehicle weight rating. Now, 30 to 40 is probably the logical number with 410s. I wouldn't buy anything more than 410s, 444s, 488s. That's an in-town ratio. It's just too steep. I don't see any efficiency in that. As I said, you might as well be in a semi for safety and efficiency. So yeah, those are the gear ratios. That's my point of view, and this is what I'm sticking to, right? Once again, I'm repeating myself. Those up to me, and if I could have my way, I would go 355s for what I need. Today's day, I drive a lot of empty. On the current moment, I don't have a newer truck that I daily, meaning a diesel truck, a daily a TRX. So this particular truck that I'm utilizing as a personal truck tow rig, that's all it does is tows. So if you're going to dedicate a truck for towing, 373 is the number you want. Unless you're going pretty heavy, then it's 410. 355 does not do poor, or 342s do not do poorly towing. It's just stressful, and you can feel the difference. You could have two identical trucks. Let's just say this 4th gen, right? I have a 4th gen dually with 373s, and it's perfect. I also have a 4th gen with 410s, and it tows really well, but it's just 65 is probably as fast as I want to go on it. Now, would I use 410s for personal? No. I feel like 410s got no business being in a personal rig. 373 is plenty, and I know some of you guys are falling off your chairs screaming at me right now, like, Paul, what in the world are you talking about, guys? That's my opinion, and I've collected my opinion through experience. And yes, I was one of those guys saying 410s is the way to go if you're towing. No, not really. 373s, because of the power these trucks have on low end, there's no need for those high gears. Now, if you have a gasoline truck, that's different. Or if you haul containers, even if you haul 10,000 pounds, but it's always a brick wall. doesn't have to be a container. It could be a utility trailer. Something that's a brick wall. Not a small utility trailer, but a good tall utility trailer. Yeah, I would consider 410s because you need that leverage fighting the wind. I'm just talking average situation, average Joe, what they would utilize it. Who hauls containers? You know, unless it's your job hauling containers, you're not going to do that every day, even if you tow a container once. Like I did with this truck. I hauled a 40-foot several times. It doesn't kill it. It's just not ideal ratio. That's all it is. Anyways, fellas, I better wrap it up. As always, may the Lord bless you. May you all mighty fine day. Ciao. Until next time.